Alright, so today we're gonna flip through this old TV guide here with George Harrison on the cover. And this obviously comes from 2001 going into 2002, which is pretty unique. Wow, I already ripped. Well, that's where actually the old address used to be. Let's go through it a little bit. Oh wow, there's Zilla here just chilling. Zilla. What do we have here? Oh, it looks like a box of some sorts. Oh boy, is it gonna be more? Oh boy, is it gonna be more bootleg DVDs? Because I just did a video about like a couple of weeks ago. Boy, let's see. Is it bootlegs? Let's see. Let me go ahead and open this box up. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. I'm trying to do this with one hand as I'm holding the camera. I mean, it's not like Zilla over here can hold the camera. Can Zilla hold the camera? I don't think so. But you know what? That's okay. I'm just gonna do it like Christmas. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's see. What did we get? What did we get here? And oh wow, wow. Okay, so we got that. Wow. Yeah. Columbia Pictures. Oh, nice. Look at that. The Columbia Torch Lady right there. That is impressive. I'm actually going to open this up just because I am that kind of person that will open up this this $100 or $105 I spent to get this this book. I'm going to actually open this up. I'm actually going to drop the camera. Hold on a sec. Alright, here it is. Columbia Pictures. Yes, Columbia Pictures. This is just Columbia Pictures. I guess that's just the name of the book, is Columbia Pictures. And as we have here, we have this embossed, the 100th anniversary logo, which is pretty unfortunate because every time I see this logo, I always think of Madam Web, which is not a great sign. But I'm pretty sure they'll probably fail to mention that or any of the lesser films from Columbia Pictures. I'd be darned if any references to 1995's Money Train is in here, or 1994's Blank Man. So I'm assuming that this is practically just like a picture book. You know, we're going to go through it a little bit. We got a foreword there. I'm obviously going to go through this a lot more. I'm just going to look at the pictures here because of my ADHD, I have a very difficult time reading sometimes. But, you know, we have some really, really beautiful pictures here, actually, going through the book. I mean, obviously you would have, like, these are the kind of books that you would find in, like, the library and stuff. But for me, you know, growing up as a kid, I always wish I owned more of these. And I own a couple of these kind of movie-related books, but like I said, they do come at a price here. The real sad part is when, like, you tend to find these books and sometimes, like, you know, when libraries close down, the books aren't really worth anything or they don't really get anything from them. Because, like I said, I spent over $105 just to get this. And I think there's supposed to be a history here of the Torch Lady, which I think we're already kind of going through a little bit. You know, I'm just kind of going through this. I don't think I'm going to get, I hope I don't get some kind of copyright thing or nothing like that for showing you guys this book. I mean, I think it'd be kind of silly if I got a copyright thing for showing you guys, you know, pictures of the, of this Columbia Pictures book that nobody else is going to flip through. Now, I will say, with this book, let me see if I can turn this light off here. There we go, because it's revealing some kind of glare. There we go. We got a little bit more better light in this here. But I will say with this book, this is not, like, available on every online platform. Like, this isn't available on, like, Amazon or nothing like that. I had to order it from, like, the website direct. And there comes, like, a lot of the posters for some of their films, which is very unique. I wonder if they mentioned any TriStar films, you know, just by, like I said, just by pure Sony, you know, just by pure, just because it's Sony. But I know this primarily is focused on Columbia. I don't know if you guys are even able to read this, you know. I'm just kind of flipping through this. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington right there. That's a gem of a movie right there. Everybody knows that. On the Waterfront, also a really, really good movie if you guys haven't seen it, but I'm pretty sure you guys have seen On the Waterfront. It's a fantastic movie. Dr. Strangelove, you know, of course, we got Dr. Strangelove, definitely one of the most famous films from the Sony Pictures or Columbia Pictures library. I am going to tend to say Sony in this video, and I apologize, you know, if I failed to mention Columbia, but it's just that whenever I associate Columbia, I usually associate them with Sony, who owns Columbia now, you know. And of course we have Gandhi there. That's really unique. The Social Network here, and it comes like some pictures here, and it goes through sort of the movie a little bit about the film itself, which is very nice. We got Kramer versus Kramer here. It's a movie I still haven't seen, unfortunately. Yes, and of course the always stunning Margot Robbie there as Sharon Tate. Lawrence of Arabia, which is definitely always considered the best from Sony Pictures, or from Columbia. Again, I'm, you know, going to be going back and forth with how I phrase my movie companies here. Got Taxi Driver, which is getting a separate 4K release, because I think before this was only released in like those box sets, like those Sony Pictures, those Columbia box sets that I don't have because they're like a crap ton of money and like they just take up so much room. Yeah, Taxi Driver. This is one of those movies I remember watching and being kind of misled when I watched it, because like I thought it was like an action movie, and like you kind of sit there and watch it and you realize it's more like kind of just like a dramatic thriller, real fascinating portrait of a very troubled man, portrayed very fantastically by early Robert De Niro when he was like on top of the world. Because you look at Robert De Niro now and it's like, oh, he's doing like comedies and stuff, you know, and kind of stuff that's kind of underneath him. But, you know, back in the 70s, he was doing stuff like this, and Godfather 2, and then he did, like, Raging Bull, and so on and so forth, and what have you. It's a very, beautiful looking book as far as, like, the way that the pictures are presented. You know what I mean? It kind of gives you a nice gloss at, you know, exactly what the film's about. You know, you might even have like a couple of lines from the film if you're not familiar with the film. But it definitely does bring up the importance of what this film meant. Of course, you got Tootsie there. That's always got to be mentioned when you're talking about Columbia Pictures. The legacy of Columbia Pictures is always kind of fascinating to me, because, like, you know, as a kid growing up, it's like, you know, when you're thinking about, like, Sony, or when you're thinking about, like, Columbia Pictures, you know, like, I saw movies like Spider-Man and Men in Black and, you know, movies like that. And, you know, I didn't really realize as a kid just how, like, long, you know, Columbia Pictures have been in the business, because a lot of the other studios you kind of notice don't really bring up a lot of their past history. You know, like they'll acknowledge it, like, you know, they'll have like DVD releases and stuff like that, but a lot of times it's very like kind of like, I don't know if you want to say selective towards towards like what they want to mention or not. Like you look at like Paramount, for instance. Like I feel like they, you know, the stuff I've learned about Paramount, it's kind of like minuscule compared to the stuff you'll know about Sony. Or compared to the amount of stuff Sony will go out and acknowledge, you know. We got Groundhog Day. You know, Groundhog Day is kind of interesting because I always feel like it's one of those movies where, like, you know, when it came out, it was just kind of seen as like a just generic comedy, but over time it became like definitely beloved. I mean, for me, it was like I didn't see this movie until like I was in high school, and like it was always just kind of an instant classic, you know. By that point, we acknowledge, you know, some female filmmakers here. Going on to the next page. You know, League of Their Own. It's also getting a 4K release visually, which is pretty cool. We got Little Women here, which actually they mentioned both versions, both the Greta Gerwig one and the one from the 90s as well. I don't know if they have a picture. Here we go. Here's a picture of the 90s one with Susan Sarandon and such. Spotlight on John Singleton, which is very unique because he did a couple of films for Sony, like Higher Learning, and I did the film Baby Boy, which I don't think they mentioned here on this. As I'm going through this, I don't see any mention for Baby Boy, which is kind of interesting to me because that was a movie that I think like over time found its audience. Like it didn't do well, and then like I said, over time it found an audience. But definitely remembered for Boys in the Hood, which has always been a huge classic. We move on here. Like I said, I really appreciate how in this book they had mentioned stuff like, you know, even like I Know What You Did Last Summer has like a little bit of, you know, it's like a picture here at least. Look at that, a big old picture of Troop Beverly Hills. I mean, I would never think to find that in this like Columbia book because that was a movie that was like panned like crazy by the critics when it came out. Yeah, like they really do go as far to mention some of that stuff. This is kind of interesting. Almost Famous. Which is pretty interesting because I think everybody knows, or at least here in the United States, I'm so familiar with this being released through DreamWorks. And I know like DreamWorks and Columbia, there were some of their films that like, or Columbia co-distributed some of their films here in the United States. Like Envy and Everlasting Peace and even like Evolution. So I've always been associated, Almost Famous with DreamWorks more than I have Columbia's, but that's interesting that they put that in there. And definitely, this book really does have a good job at mentioning, like, you know, filmmakers from like different races. Like, you know, we just saw John Singleton with like Spike Lee. You know, they give him a mention, which is really nice. Bottle Rockets, which I think is the only, Sony Pictures film. Or the only Columbia film from Wes Anderson, because like after this, like Rushmore was Touchstone, and like he worked with Disney for all those years and Universal, so kind of surprised to even mention this one actually, to tell you the truth. Yeah, every time I see Rita Hayworth, I always think of The Shawshank Redemption. You got Sci-Fi here, picture of Gattaca and Starman up there. Got The Fifth Element, it's very unique. Close Encounters, which again, that's always a given. You always have to bring that up when you're mentioning Columbia Pictures. I always feel like without this movie, we would have never had E.T. 3D films. Oh, they're even mentioning the 3D films, which is like very interesting. Because that was like a big thing for a while. Sony Pictures Animation. You know, it's funny because like, you know, everybody will like mention that Spider-Verse is their favorite. My personal favorite is always Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, because like I saw that movie you know, around like 2011. I always thought that movie always stuck out to me. Like even when they did like Emoji Movie and stuff, I always like had a soft spot for Sony. We got franchise films. So we got, you know, Charlie's Angels. They're not going to mention the other Charlie's Angels, are they? Actually, they mention it. I think they mention it here on this little article. Got the Equalizer films. Oh yeah, we got Spider-Man. I think I've told that story about seeing this in the theater when I was like 5 years old, and kind of like how it rocked my world. It's very interesting to go back and look at just like how impactful this movie was to my childhood. You know, and we come all the way back to Spider-Man No Way Home, which is very, very riveting to see that on the big screen. Just felt like it really was a big tribute to the character. We got Bad Boys, which wow, these photos are really unique. Like this poster right here is really nice. Like this is like some kind of like, I don't know like what you call those posters, but like it even mentions the box office number. But I gotta tell you, like they really did a great job with the posters. As far as like, you know, the pictures. Like I know this is obviously a picture book, but again, you know, they did a great job at utilizing like visuals really well and convincingly. Like you kind of just look at the visuals alone, and you really get a good feel for how you know, visually impressive these films were. Because again, films is like a visual medium. You know, like you really get a lot from when you watch a film. You know, a lot visually from when you watch a film. You know, it's not just all in the script. It's all in a lot of the visuals that convey a lot, you know. Oh yeah, Men in Black, definitely a movie I grew up with as a kid. Watched this frequently as a kid. I remember, you know, we had this on VHS. Had like the Mask of Zorro preview and my best friend's wedding. You know, the preview for that at the beginning, and some pictures of the lot, which is interesting. I don't know if they host like studio tours, but if they do, I would love to go to the back lot of Sony Pictures. I think it would at least be like very interesting. Oh, I'm zooming in. There we go. Yeah, it'd be like very interesting to go to like the back lot of like Sony Pictures. So yeah, basically I just wanted to kind of flip through this, you know, kind of crudely, and show you guys kind of what this book was about, because when I saw this for sale, I kind of knew that it was something I would have to get, just because like I said, I like collecting some of these picture books. But again, I did spend over like $100 trying to get this. It is going for a lot. I don't even think it's going to ever go down in price. So what I have here is a pretty, is a very pricey book. But I think it was definitely worth the money because, like I said, a lot of these pictures are really, really beautiful. And it's very beautifully done. And it's just such a loving tribute to Sony Pictures, or to Columbia. You know, the studio that, you know, has been around since like, you know, way before I was born. You know, I was a sperm cell, I guess, or maybe I was some kind of sperm cell or something like that. I don't know. I don't know at all. I don't know who in my family is over 100 years old, so they can't tell me the tale of Columbia Pictures back in when they first formed, but this book definitely can. So, you know, I do highly recommend this for those very, very interested. It is a very beautiful piece. I even got a thank you right here. Wow, that's nice. My contemporary library, as you guys always see, you know, as you guys always see, my contemporary library is mostly consisted of old TV guides. You know, it's definitely consisted of Columbia Pictures, and also Zilla here, who probably is not really feeling the need for, you know, the likeness for Columbia Pictures, because I mean, it's not like we have a TriStar, you know, book. I'd love to see a TriStar book. I mean, imagine like, you know, they're talking about Matilda and like Jerry Maguire, and then like they get on to like Daddy Day Camp. It's like, yeah, that's got to be something we bring up. I'd love it. So yeah, I mean, like if there's ever a TriStar book, I definitely would pick it up just to see, you know, just to see what that's like. But who knows? But definitely, this is a very, like I said, this is a great thing to pick up if you are interested. But again, It is for a lot, so, you know, it's not going for cheap. And again, you can only buy this on, like, the website. I know the website's back here. I always forget what the website's called, but, like, yeah, you could buy this solely on the website, because I don't think any other places are carrying this. This isn't like something you can find on, like, Amazon or Barnes & Noble. No, you have to buy this. As far as I know, you have to buy this strictly from the website. So, you know, and I don't know if, like, if they end up doing, like, another pressing, if this is still going to be, like, the same kind of hard book and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, I highly recommend picking this up if you are very interested into the history of Columbia Pictures, and, you know, just, again, getting some notes about, like, you know, their best films and stuff, or the films that they really admire, you know, because obviously they're not going to mention films like Money Train or Blank Man, you know, or Jet Li's The One, you know, like, you know, you're not going to get any of those, but you'll definitely get, like, you know, some decent, solid pictures and information about, like, what they consider, you know, the greatest films from them. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to call this video good, and I'll see you guys somewhere in the near future. I mean, I thank everybody for clicking on this video, even if it was just a complete waste of time for those out there. But again, I did this video for my own self-amusement. So I'll see you guys somewhere in the near future. I probably won't be back to, like, another 8 years or something like that. You know, I'll probably leave you guys hanging for, like, another 3 months. I'll be like, oh, whatever, you know. Now I'm just rambling. But you know what? That's all I do. I'm just rambling, man, like that song. So, yeah. Good night, folks.